Have you checked the children? You're a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
And I'm Davey Death Ray.
That's right, he is back. It's been a bit, but Davey is back on the channel because he was willing and able to accompany me to go see the newest film that is going to be released this week, and that is called Abigail. Now, Abigail has been getting a lot of buzz from the screenings that have already happened at this point, so I actually had some high expectations going into it. This is done by the Radio Silence guys.
Yeah.
And specifically, let me make sure I give credit where credit's due. Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. Or Gillett. I'm not sure. But either way, those are the directors of the film. And we're going to do this review like we do all the reviews here on the Horror Show, which is talk about our overall thoughts, then the story, the acting, the effects, the filmmaking, all that good stuff in turn. And Davey, I want to start with you. What were your overall thoughts on this one?
So I thought this one was a pretty fun time, but I thought maybe a little tonally uneven at times. And I guess maybe I just expected a little more fun all throughout. But certainly, I think, especially if you're a fan of vampire films, you know, I think it's worth it to, you know, give it a shot yourself. I don't, maybe it's just with the Radio Silence guys, I'm just a little lukewarm on the 3 films of theirs that I've seen. So maybe it's something there, but yeah, I still had a good time. Some really great fun shots that got the crowd going. So yeah, worth it.
Didn't they do 2 Scream movies or just, did you not see Ready or Not?
I missed that one.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's the thing too. Maybe I mean, and you know, I rewatch movies, so who knows how my thoughts will change. I'm certainly going to rewatch all the Scream movies multiple times, but yeah, you know, similar feelings here where it's like, okay, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, head over heels, but I like it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they did Ready or Not also. If I'm
I think
wrong,
so.
they'll,
I think
they'll
so. That
kill me in
sounds
the
familiar.
comments, but
I'll get on the comments and be like, Cecil, you got it wrong. I checked
there you go,
IMDb.
yeah. So my overall thoughts are, I actually had a good time throughout. I can understand the tonally uneven portion of what you're saying, but I actually felt like they struck the tone pretty well. There was a couple times where the joke might have been a little cringy or whatever, but overall, it got a lot more laughter out of me than I was hoping it would get laughter out of me. Usually they're pretty good about that kind of thing, you know, mixing the humor in with the scares. This was a lot closer gore-wise to Ready or Not than it was the Scream movies, obviously. Ready or Not was kind of the inverse of this, where someone gets married and then the entire family tries to hunt them in a house instead of one person trying to hunt everyone else in the house.
So this is a vampire take on a flip of that.
An inverse, right? Yeah, basically. And so my overall thoughts were I really had a good time. It was funny. The gore was awesome. I'm a big gore fan, and I thought the filmmaking was well done as well. My only issue came in the form of the early pacing. Like, they take a long time before they get to the good stuff, and they try and play it like we don't know the little girl's a vampire for about 40 minutes. And it's like all you advertised was that it was a little girl vampire ballerina. And like, so we're ahead of all the characters for like 40 minutes. And that's never great as an audience member. Like, you want to discover things as the characters do, and then you're like, oh, cool. And there's more of that. Like, that's the nice thing. We wait 40 minutes to get into the crux of it, but there's still more reveals later that we won't spoil, right? This is a non-spoiler review, but
non-spoiler,
but that was the big issue that I had. So overall, I really enjoyed the film though.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's the kind of what I'm talking about, is the trailer was so much fun. Like when the first, I think I watched that here with you guys, the first trailer that came out, and I was like, oh, this is gonna feel like From Dusk Till Dawn meets like Evil Dead 2 or some, you know, some sort of grandiose, like really fun, quippy kind of movie. But yeah, I think they take a while to get to that. And exactly to your point, like when that's what you advertise, it's okay to get there quick. Yeah. And then spend the rest of your movie just having fun, because there certainly are moments where the fun shines through, and it you know, gives you what it promised in the trailer.
And there are further twists and turns, which is nice.
It did have some, I thought they did a really good job with that. Yeah.
But story-wise, I mean, if you saw the trailer, you know the story. Again, without spoiling anything, the simple thing of it is there's a crew of criminals that get together to kidnap a little girl. Turns out it's the little girl of someone, you know, important that's able to pay $50 million for her return. And then they quickly learn that the little girl, there's more to the little girl in that she's a more than blood-sucking vampire. She's a thrill kill vampire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the little girl lets them think, you know, that they're in control pretty much the whole time, and then she turns the tables and has her own fun, and that's the story without spoiling it. And I enjoyed, again, even though it took a long time to get to the fun, I feel like that could have been addressed. I feel like we could have taken the last 45 minutes to an hour and like stretch that over, you know, another 20 minutes and just have the 10 minutes of setup, get right into it. Because they had enough stuff that happened in the back half that I think it could have filled out the back 3/4 instead. You know what I mean?
And yeah, some of those elements to me reminded me of like the old like 90s haunted house remake movies, like The Haunting and House on Haunted Hill.
I love those movies.
Where I was like,
well, I didn't like The Haunting. I did like House on Haunted Hill quite a bit.
Yeah, and just that kind of feeling of like bringing these people into this space, and like, you know, with the same guys that rebooted Scream, it's kind of cool to be like, oh, they brought something else back from that like period too, and also some like Resident Evil kind of vibes with just the setting. So yeah, and some fun stuff. I agree that if you took that last hour and just made it a bigger part, a little more action, little quicker with it, for sure.
Yeah, and I just wanted to double check the kind of the lead criminal was played by Melissa Barrera from, you know, Scream 5 and 6. Yeah. And I wasn't entirely sure because I've only seen those movies once.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Melissa Barrera. I liked her way more in this than I liked her in the Scream movies.
Yeah.
I got frustrated by her in the Scream movies. I didn't like the way she played her character very much until the end of Scream 6. Yeah. You know, where there's a possibility of her turning dark.
Sure.
Right. I like that. This was her character was much more engaging to me in this. I enjoyed it a lot more. And they had a good, like, every movie has to find a way to try and give you backstory, but if they can't show it to you, they have to tell you in a creative way. Yeah. And I kind of liked how we got some backstory, like the scene where we got early backstory about them. I enjoyed the way they played that out. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's a good way to exposit without it seeming like exposition right in your face kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's just familiar to that kind of almost like a cinema trope of when gangsters are hanging out, like something that they often talk about kind of thing. And yeah, I was kind of lukewarm on her performance in Scream 5. I thought that she was better in Scream 6. I didn't necessarily like the movie more, but I was like, oh, she's actively trying to get better. Like, she's improving her chops, and I think this is the extension of that, where she's like fully capable of, I mean, she's there's something magnetic about her, you know, her performance and the way she...
So smoky eyes, man.
Well, yeah, and she doesn't blink, which is a great acting move because it really sucks you right in, you know? But yeah, I think she just seems to be getting better as she goes, for sure.
I agree. I mean, that's a good segue into the acting, right? Yeah. So I quite liked everyone in this. In fact, what's her name? Catherine Newton? The girl that was Lisa Frankenstein that's also in this.
Oh, is she the one that played Sammy? Like the blonde Sammy, girl with the cool... She had a really awesome outfit. Great.
And I should just like look at everyone right
Great
now.
job
Catherine
on the
Newton,
wardrobe there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catherine Newton was really enjoyable in this, but everyone did a really great job. You know, everyone played their character well. No one brought me out of the movie or anything like that with like bad acting. I had a good time. Like I was worried, you know, you never know with child actors, right? Sure. Before, if they haven't done anything before, it could go either way, right? Yeah. But I thought this little girl again, Alicia Weir, did an amazing job. Amazing job as Abigail. Like she was really fun to watch. Have her fun, and so acting wise, I thought. Oh, and I was surprised. I didn't remember in the trailer that Giancarlo Esposito is in this.
He's in everything.
Which is more power to him.
Yeah, it's awesome.
More power to him. He always has, like, ever since Breaking Bad, every role there's like a certain gravitas with him.
Yeah, you know he's got that. You can feel his presence. Like there is something special there. And yeah, the young girl that plays Abigail, I mean, a huge, like a hefty plate of acting material, like a lot of dynamic range between like, you know, having to play a monster and then the innocent victim and just everything in between, like handles it all really well, even, you know, little comedic moments or stuff like that, you know. So she did great. The guy that played Frank, I love that. Yeah, that actor.
Yeah,
I mean, that performance, like, and everyone is sort of like just consistently themselves throughout. Like it's, gosh, I mean, I don't mean this in, I mean this in the best way possible. It's like, you know, like a modern video game with a bunch of different characters going around. Like you just get to know these characters so well.
I especially love Kevin Durand. I had to double check what his name is, but he was the muscle guy.
Oh my gosh, he was amazing.
He's so good, and he's good in everything that he does. Like he was in The Strain, that TV show, the Guillermo del Toro vampire show. He had his own creature movie. I can't remember what it was called, but he was awesome in that. And he's just always enjoyable. He was in Lock and Key in the last season of Lock and Key. He's been in a ton of stuff. He's kind of a character actor, but he was so engaging in this too. And he was just playing like the muscle kind of thing, but it was so fun.
Yeah, it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but being really funny like, the whole time. Which, I mean, Arnold's got his moments too, but it was like, for me not knowing, I mean, I'd seen the guy in some stuff, couldn't remember who it was. But yeah, every character is memorable. And like they have distinct characteristics that doesn't go too over they don't really hit you over the head. You just get to know them, you know, and they're all likable, and you know, and even the ones that aren't the best in the end are still likable as characters. It's great.
I thought the filmmaking was really, really well done. The sound design was fantastic. There was stuff going on the sides and in the back as characters were doing separate things, and it helped. Like the sound design was really good at giving you spatial information, and as well as making everything engaging and the gross stuff gross. And there's like a lot of blood in this movie, and there's a reason why. But I was particularly aware during one scene where there's a lot of blood, where two characters are standing afterwards and like moving around the room, and they were consistent with the puddle squelches with every step and everything like that. You know? So the sound design was great. The score was engaging as well. But the cinematography, I thought, was well done. There wasn't a lot of like gimmicky cinematography in it. But again, they were filming a ballerina vampire, and they have to do that in a certain way to get it across well. And I thought they did a good job with that.
Yeah, I thought it was like nothing too like flashy that would seem so stylistic that it would take you out of it. But yeah, really, I thought they did a good job too of like long tracking shots to just sort of build suspense and stuff like that. Moments that could be, you know, would be used as jump scares in lesser films. They're a bit more creative with how they handled that in this film for sure. And yeah, lots of blood and very consistent.
Well, I mean, that's a good segue into the effects. I thought the effects were awesome. I mean, there was definitely some CG blood enhancements at times. And one particular scene, I was like, okay, now we're crossing into a CG blood flow. But they reined it in, and they got back to practical, you know, pretty quickly. So, you know, it might not bother a lot of people, but you know, overall, it was great. There was a lot of practical gore, and they didn't use the CG gore so much that it was really distracting. It was just little bursts, so to speak. Yeah, really good. I mean, as far as some of the props that they built for the gore effects, like, look very realistic up close. So I thought they did a really good job. Like, you know, that stood out to me for sure. And yeah, I mean, I feel like with CG, it's like, you know, use it in the right spot. Right. And it can be used to enhance effects that are already there. So I think there's room for practical and room for CG, as long as you're, you know, just being mindful about how you're using it. And in this film, yeah, they knocked it out of the park. I think the gore effects were probably one of my favorite parts of the film.
You know, when you get like Evil Dead vibes when you're a guy like me,
Yeah.
and you get Evil Dead vibes, and I'm like, man, is this a vampire movie or Evil Dead kind of movie? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's walking this really fun line.
Yeah.
And yeah, I enjoyed that.
The
quite
gore
a bit.
is more than just to gross you out. The gore sells the comedy in a lot of moments in this, which is, it's fun when movies can do that. And yeah, Evil Dead was the, you know, one of the progenitors of that.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see them carry that torch, but do it in their own, you know, more slick, less home video style than Evil Dead did.
Yeah.
You know, obviously limited by the
Absolutely.
time, but you know, they're taking that vibe and bringing it into today's more serious studio feel filmmaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that.
You can see like the bits of influence from kind of all over the place. And there was one particular effect that every time it happened, it was like an applause break in the audience. So fun stuff.
That is true. I gotta say, it's worth mentioning. We saw this in a it was a preview screening, yes, but it was a full theater, almost full. And there was reactions all throughout. There was one dude a couple seats to my right that was cracking up, and I was enjoying, like, you know, there's annoying laughter, like that they just can't get enough of the stupid shit on screen, but this guy was genuine, jovial, like bowl full of jelly laughter, and it was just so fun to experience.
And he kept it nice and tight. He was like,
yeah,
he's not giving you the extra.
Yeah.
Nice.
The laughter wasn't about him. It was actually about his reaction to the film.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people that reacted that way. There was again, like you said, applause breaks, laugh breaks, like
it played very well.
Even at press screenings that are full, that doesn't happen in 80 to 90% of the screenings. And so when it does, that I think that means something special.
I was sitting there thinking, you know, even though like I'm just liking this, not fully in love with it, it's great that people are having a hell of a time with it. You know, it's, I mean, you know, not everything's going to be like a home run for you, but I can certainly appreciate like what the film does well. And I mean, it's been getting great reviews, and tonight was a pure example of that. Yeah,
100%. So guys, I think it's very much worth your time to go and see this film, and in the theater. You know, sometimes we say you can wait until home video, and you certainly can on this one, but I think this is one that sings because of the big crowd effect. Like, this is one to see in the first weekend or two. Yeah. Because it'll hang in there for a few weeks. It's going to have that kind of word of mouth. But yeah, definitely see it with as big a crowd as you can, as long as you can handle that kind of thing. A lot of people are still wanting to social distance, or have just gotten used to not dealing with bullshit in theaters.
Yeah.
And so if you have a big crowd, there's a higher probability of bullshit. But if you get the good crowd, it's that magical theatrical experience for horror fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Really fun, you know, throwback to, you know, a kind of classic, you know, house full of people, something bad's gonna happen kind of thing. Yeah, played so well. So
old school horror matinee vibes, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you can, you know, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different little influences in there that you can see. They all work together, you know, well enough, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So there you go, guys. That's going to do it for our non-spoiler thoughts on Abigail. If you've seen the movie, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Try and keep it spoiler-free for the people that haven't actually seen the film yet. Maybe we'll try and do some kind of spoiler discussion here this weekend. I don't know, but nonetheless, this film is worth your time. So yeah, go and check it out. Thanks again for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you to Davey for joining me once again. I greatly appreciate you filling in for Fuego.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Woo, sorry. Fuego got me from afar on that one. Like, talk shit.
Someone's ears are burning.
He's got a little doll. But yeah, so thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
And I'm Davey Death Ray.
And remember,
stay scared.